Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio.
And today we are going to do a quick follow-up/checkup, however you want to call it, on something we addressed a while ago in a Monday Mini. We wanted to do a short follow-up on the Me Too movement that was happening in the brewing world. And before we start, I am going to open my beer, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. It's called Brave Noise, and I'm going to open it because I don't think I've done an ASMR thing in a minute, have I?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm opening it, and then I have also got my pretty glass. Amy, can you see this?
Pretty.
In celebration, because this was actually from Orpheus, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. And it's their anniversary stemmed glass. I felt like it was appropriate. I can't find my pint glass. I think my partner has it. Here we go.
Probably.
I feel like that needs to go.
I know.
And then some pours.
Nice pour.
Thank you. I know how to pour a beer.
Oh, I know you do.
That is something I definitely have learned from Orpheus. All right. So, yes. And because we love celebrating women coming together to make change, we wanted to highlight a specific brewing project, again, that is titled Brave Noise, as I said. And it is a fantastic collaboration happening in several breweries around the country and beyond. It's a global thing. And we are excited to get to have a moment in drinking this. It's been a minute because I got it a few weeks ago, and I had to save this last one from my pack that I bought. Again, we are not sponsored, just to put that out there. We are also going to tell you drink responsibly in whatever you are drinking, whether it's caffeine, alcohol. You can have too much water too, right? That's a thing.
You can. It's very difficult to do. I have a whole story about this, but yes, you can.
Of course you do. But just overall, drink responsibly. So we've been holding on to these so that we could do an episode, and I'm very excited to start this. So yay and cheers.
Yay and cheers. Love it. Yes, Brave Noise came out of the viral movement where brewer Brienne Allan asked on her Instagram, "Have you ever experienced sexism in the beer industry?" And the answers were astounding, with stories from all over the world that not only called out sexism, but the overall abuse and dark nature of the industry that has been ignored for so long. And I think we're still seeing these pop up, still going on. It went bigger than anyone expected, and Allan and friends went a step further in taking action, not only calling out the stories, but pushing into bringing attention with a new brew that would be a project which would allow for breweries to participate on a local level. And as Allan stated, the Brave Noise collaboration is meant to provide awareness and create action for safe and inclusive environments in the beer industry. So today we are drinking the Orpheus Brewing's own version of Brave Noise, which is not only for show, but with 100% of the proceeds going to Safe Bars HQ, which helps provide training for harassment and abuse intervention for local bartenders, and also teaches understanding of the overall misogyny and how to spot a problematic situation.
Right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the standards in a second, but essentially they had this very big idea, they being Allan and her friend who created this at Notch Brewing, that they wanted a movement kind of like similar to the Black is Beautiful campaign, in which during the time that we were talking about, and we should still be talking about, but it was a bigger moment with the many deaths that was happening across the U.S. Against the Black community, and just overall the nature of pretty much hate crimes against the Black community, and trying to come together as an industry. However, some of that actually really failed pretty hard. Black is Beautiful, though it was a really great campaign, a lot of the brewers, I would say, we're just doing this as a show, and instead of actually supporting what it was. A lot of the breweries who have just recently, through this campaign, the Tell Me Your Experience campaign, essentially, were called out for their racism. And those were the same damn breweries that were doing this little campaign to try to look like they were pushing forward. And y'all, it's really hard to spot it sometimes, but there's been a lot of conversations about specific problematic breweries. I will say some locations were hit harder, as in like more people were willing to come out than others. But that is something that needs to be addressed as well. But they took this type of campaign. They're like, we're going to take it one step further to ensure that that stuff does not happen. The fake allyship does not happen. And I think they've done a pretty good job on that. As in fact, Jen Blair, who currently lives in Atlanta, so local to us, who is an advanced Cicerone and working towards getting her master's, like she is legitimately all up there in that brewing world and is an expert by every means. And several of the women of Orpheus, where I used to work at, came together to brew this beer. And Jen, being an experienced home brewer, helped create this version of Brave Noise. So if you've heard about this beer, again, like I said, it's gone internationally. There's different variations and different collaborations and different breweries who are doing it and hopping on board. Not as many as I think should be, but several out there. Again, so this one that we have specifically is a pale ale with a 4.5% ABV. And Jen has been a big part of this movement. And if you want to follow her, she is on most of the social media as Under the Genfluence. Yes.
Oh,
yeah, you get it? Yes, I knew you'd love that one. Under the Genfluence. So you should definitely look her up. And she has been working to change the industry within, as in fact, she came out with a pretty big story in one of the big breweries here in Atlanta and called them out and brought a big change to that. I don't know. They've not really done much to show that they're changing, but I will say it has affected their sales a little bit. And trying to revamp their image, I think. We'll see. But they lost their head chef as well, who was a woman chef. And she was like LGBTQ woman chef. And she was like, I'm done. Can't be here. And then Jen was there for a while. And she was like, I can't be here either. And had this moment of like, hey, let's call this out for what it is, which is what made her move over to Orpheus and kind of trying to work out some of the things in the industry. So not giving up on the industry, which I know too often happens, specifically with women of color, specifically in the LGBTQ community. Like they just give up on something they love because they're so tainted by what is happening in that industry. But Jen is trying to really put a lot of effort in changing the industry as a whole, coming to the table, being at the table first and foremost, and being a part of the conversation. And yeah, has been very open about her own experiences and how she's been fighting to be included, acknowledged, and accredited with her work within the industry. And she's, like I said, she has been out and about and recently really busy. Like if you come to see her stuff, she's like out and about, judging beers, going to different festivals, having conversations and changing policies. And I can say just sitting down and talking with her can make you want to know more about the details and the beauty of beer. And yeah, I miss it a little bit. I miss that industry because we would talk about the background and the nuances of brewing in general. And she knows her stuff from everything from she educates people on the tasting notes to the quality to how it's brewed. Like she is, I'm telling you, the one to know if you want to know about these beers.
Ooh, okay. If you are wanting to do this collab or you want to encourage your favorite brewery to get involved, here are some of the guidelines. The breweries will, quote, need to submit their code of conduct, publicly post their code of conduct, and resources available for staff and customers via their website, QR code and or signage at their physical location, commit to the long-term work, and donate 100% of the proceeds to a verified nonprofit.
Right. So if you want to follow Embolden Act Advance on Instagram, they have a lot of the guidelines. And they actually took over for Brienne, her own sites, because she was so overwhelmed with all the stories that she kind of handed it over saying, I don't have the time to A, give this the attention that they deserve, B, verify some of the situations that are being said, and C, really be able to focus on that and my current job. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but that is the new Instagram, new-ish Instagram after it blew up so big. And if you want to follow along with what's happening with Brave Noise, what's happening in the industry, they keep giving some accountability testimonies as well. So a lot of good things that are happening in events. I think you also should follow, again, Under the Genfluence, because she also does a lot of the stuff and talks about a lot of the things that are happening, especially when it comes to fighting against the sexism, the harassment, and just the overall gross nature that can come in this industry and that has been so long allowed in this industry, and now people are calling it out. Unfortunately, when I'm looking at the stories, I don't see too many follow-ups. I do see a few things. So some of the follow-ups I've seen in the industry, they have called it out, CEOs stepping down, brewers being fired. But as we quickly know, when things dismiss and people slowly start paying attention, sometimes it just comes back to the old ways, unfortunately. So it's very important that we do stay active and hold people accountable. And I do think places so LY is located in Jacksonville, Florida. Went to visit them. Fun little house. They offer so many beers and they're so great. They made it a point to make sure that they did not allow for some of these breweries that were being called out and were being verified that this is a bad thing or bad environment. They will not allow them to be in their stores. So love that. I've seen festivals being called out. So therefore they're dropping sponsors because of that situation. So there are a few changes that have happened. I know at iHeart, we actually, the problematic brewery here in Atlanta was considered for an event. And we were like, nope. Let me tell you what happened. And so, they kind of, not that they don't know that we did this, but we did not want to give money to something that was so problematic in our community, that was purposeful for us, and that we knew about it. Not everyone does. So we made sure to let that be known, just telling the story, just letting them know what's happening, to letting them see the bigger picture. But like I said, it is slow coming. And I do think things like this beer, which is a tasty beer, by the way, it's very tasty beer, bringing more attention to it. And I know there's so many of y'all out there who love beer and love the science and the beauty of what beer is and how it can be. So push forward. Let them know. Let your brewers know what's happening and see if they're willing to take on this project that does call out such a big problem in the industry. So let us know if that's happening in your area. I want to hear about this.
Yes. Also, let us know if you brew beer.
Yes, there's such a huge community of women home brewers. I have to say that. They are amazing too. And I'm like, I want to be cool like you.
Yes. Let us know how cool you are. You can email us at stephanie@momstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Instagram at Stuff I've Never Told You or on Twitter at MomStuffPodcast. Thanks as always to our super producer, Christina.
Also very cool.
Yes. And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I've Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.